Good afternoon, South Florida, and happy 4th of July to you as we continue to track Tropical Storm Elsa. We have the 2 p.m. advisory from the National Hurricane Center. So let's start with the stats. Winds at 60 miles per hour. That's down from yesterday, but basically the same so far this morning, holding steady. Pressure's relatively high and movement to the northwest at 14 miles per hour. Now it's centered just south of the southeastern Cuba coast and north of Jamaica. It passed between the two islands with the center avoiding land so far for the most part, but look at it on satellite. It looks ragged, doesn't it? It's not a pretty picture, what you would typically expect for a tropical storm, and it struggled today. That's the reason why that pressure is as high as it is and why the winds have been kind of steady and even coming down from yesterday. What's going on is even though the center missed the two islands, the overall circulation is still being impacted by mountainous terrain over Jamaica and also on the southeastern coast of Cuba. That's causing it to struggle again today, and that continues to be the question mark with this storm going ahead, is land interaction and how much is that going to impact the strength of the storm. So the forecast is, as we go through today and tomorrow, it's near the South Cuba coast. Now, if it passes more over land, that would be a weaker storm. If it stays more out over the open water, which is really warm water, which is fuel for tropical storms, then there's a chance it could strengthen. So the forecast from the National Hurricane Center does allow for some slight strengthening through Monday, 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm, but at some point it does have to cross over Cuba, and as it does, that will cause some weakening. Our forecast hasn't changed much for when it makes its closest approach to the Florida Keys, which is going to be Monday night, and into early Tuesday morning. The forecast is for a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm. Here it is. This is by Tuesday morning. Thereafter, it curls to the north and threatens the west coast of Florida, where it may make a landfall near the Tampa area as a tropical storm, give or take. So we have tropical storm warnings hoisted. This came out this morning from the middle Keys to the lower Keys to the dry Tortugas. Officially starts at Craig Key. This means that tropical storm conditions are forecast. They're likely. Where we have the green, that's a tropical storm watch. The forecast, again, hasn't changed much, but what this means is that there's a potential for sustained winds over 40 miles per hour in the upper Keys and the southwest coast of Florida, but it's not necessarily forecast. So let's time this out. Here we are on Monday. I'm going to take you to 6 o'clock Monday evening, and this is the tropical storm force wind field. Notice that the wind field is beyond the cone, so just because you're outside the cone doesn't mean that you won't see the potential for tropical storm force winds. That's why we have the warning that extends out beyond that cone. So conditions start to go downhill Monday evening for the middle and lower Keys. The worst of it looks to be Monday night, early Tuesday. All right, so this is 5 o'clock in the morning. That'll be its closest approach. And where we see the orange, that's where the highest winds would be near the core of the storm. It's a lopsided storm, right loaded, but we could see potential gusts to 70 miles per hour in that range. By Tuesday afternoon, it does start to draw away, and then we'll watch the west coast of Florida. There it is, as it may make a landfall near Tampa Tuesday night, or Wednesday. So bottom line here, for the lower and middle Keys, tropical storm force winds at times. For the upper Keys, we could see some bands with tropical storm force gusts. Heavy rain, isolated tornadoes are always a threat with the bands. We'll be watching for that. And we could even see some surge impacts. This would be on the ocean side of the lower Keys, 1 to 2 feet. If it were to come over at high tide with the core. Meanwhile, on the southwest side of the Florida coast, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge is possible. This is a much more vulnerable area for storm surge. For Miami-Dade and Broward, we're not expecting big impacts from this as far as the wind goes. We could see some gusty bands that pack tropical storm force gusts. As far as rain goes, I think that's going to be our biggest issue. We could see areas of heavy rain, potential flooding. If we get a band to set up, you can get some spots to rack up 3-4 inches of rain. It's just unforecastable at this point. So we'll watch for those gusty bands. Here's our forecast. This is for South Florida. Rain is around and heavy at times on Monday and Tuesday, but our conditions will look to improve by the middle part of the week as Elsa draws north and away from us. We're going to have another update coming up at the top of the hour. We'll see you then.